Hi, my name is Alex, and I love going to the movies. This is Alex talking, and last night I saw Final Destination Bloodlines in theaters. I cannot express how much that meant to me. It was a surreal experience. I found out about the Final Destination franchise in third grade when my student teacher, for his like, put a photo on our wall to be like, support reading photo had a photo of him reading a book next to the poster for Final Destination 5 with nails coming through it. And I was like, what the fuck is that? And he was like, Final Destination 5. So that's how I discovered the Final Destination franchise. And for the longest time, this has been right there with The Evil Dead and Friday the 13th as one of my favorite horror series. That'd be a fun video to do sometime. Top 10 like favorite horror series, because everybody's got different ones, Because after that, Halloween would be up there, Scream, but also like Phantasm and well, I can't say I know what you did last summer. There's only two of those, but I really like those. Hatchet, Terrifier. Those are all some of my favorites. Like if Terrifier 4 is good, I guess I just really don't like the first one. So, anyways, all that being said, Final Destination, I love these movies, okay? I absolutely love these movies. I hope you appreciate it. Sometimes I can just get a little distracted and talk about other random shit. Because this is just my free-flowing thoughts, pretty much, about something I'm just so excited about. And that's a new Final Destination movie that I loved. Spoiler alert, I adored it. I had a great time. I've heard so many people say the same thing. And I've also seen a lot of people say that they did not enjoy it as much. And I have to say, I'm firmly in the camp that this did everything I needed it to, and infinitely more. This was way better than I expected. Because the directors of it, Adam Lipkowski, I think is one of the guys' names, and maybe the other guy might be named Zach. I can't entirely remember. Excuse me. I apologize, fellas. You did an amazing job. And previously, I'd only seen Leprechaun Origins, which one of them had directed, and Freaks, a Netflix movie with Bruce Dern and Emil Hirsch that the other, they had both directed together. And I thought both of them were very bad. So I was a little nervous that they were helming the Final Destination franchise. Not like the guy who made Snakes on a Plane didn't make one of the best movies in this franchise otherwise as well, Anything's possible. Shout out David R. Ellis, the GOAT. But I still also had reservations because this was called Final Destination Bloodlines. And it's not a joke for no reason. Everybody in the horror community knows that if you put Bloodlines in your horror movie title, there's a good chance it's going to be really shitty. Like, you got Hellraiser, you've got Wrong Turn, you've got Pet Cemetery, all of those ones, Bloodlines. I've never seen the Wrong Turn one. That's probably one. That was just a guess, but there's no way that that's not one. But those other two, like Hellraiser, Bloodlines is one of the worst in that franchise, and Pet Cemetery Bloodlines sucked. So yeah, this is one of those things that is a stupid thing to have a cause for concern over, but it made me think that. And this movie just blew me away. It literally could have came and blown me in the theater, and it couldn't have been any better than it was, because I went into this completely blind. I didn't see any of the trailers except for the teaser trailer with the nose ring, and that was so good. That marketing, doing that as a teaser trailer, especially because of the way that that's implemented into the movie and what the end result of that is, I didn't feel like I was cheated at all. I this morning watched the real trailer, the official trailer, and I would have felt so disappointed to know all that stuff going in. I am so thankful this is something I was able to avoid. Currently, the trailers I'm running out of are like Weapons, the new Zach Kreger movie. Previously, I'd ran out of the trailer for Wolfman, Sinners, The Monkey. Horror movies are what usually do it for me. But this one, just not knowing a single image or setup for any of these kills, or just the whole sequences, the whole set piece relating to the kills, not knowing anything going in was such a blessing, because you have these set pieces that are so complex and well thought out and well orchestrated, and they, for the first time ever, really, well, not ever, but for the first time, really play with what's going to actually hurt people and what is not. And like letting them get little victories over death along the way rather than just being like, you know, accidentally like, oh, well, maybe she didn't step on that nail, but the next girl on the balance beam is going to step on that nail. It's like there's a piece of glass in there's 8 people with drinks and there's a piece of glass in one of the drinks. Who's going to drink the glass? And, you know, sometimes that tension isn't exactly paid off. Like, you know, nobody might end up drinking the glass. And I found that actually really intriguing. It was almost like Blue Balls, the horror movie for Final Destination, but it didn't kill me. It did not kill the movie for me because when the actual kills came, they were so excellent that it was completely worth it. It was actually just a way to make you more invested in these characters while also still having the fun Final Destination death fun that you're looking for. I would not say that Final Destination is a franchise with bad characters. You know, I love Friday the 13th. That's a franchise with mostly bad characters. Final Destination, you know, Alex and Clear from the first one. Clear carries through the second one. I don't really like AJ Cook as much in the second one. She's kind of fine. I like the cop in the second one. The third one, I love all those characters. Ian McKinley, my goat. Wendy Christensen, awesome. I actually really like those characters, and I think they're some of the best characters in any horror movie, and that's why the third one works, because it's like the Nightmare on Elm Street 3 of Final Destination, where the horror is excellent, but the comedy is so dialed up to 11. It has every sort of like aesthetic choice you could want, you know, like girls topless sunbathing kill, and a roller coaster opening, and crazy devil amusement park. Like, that's all stuff that I would choose to be in this movie if I could choose anything. So that's why the third one is just so head and shoulders my favorite of the franchise. But this one, it wasn't 3. It was something so unique and original that I just couldn't help but have a smile on my face the entire time, thinking, how am I watching this in a theater for the first time and still experiencing it just like I experienced all the other ones? You know, rather than seeing the trailer and the build up like a typical movie, like, oh, I kind of know what I'm getting into. It's like, I'm watching this just like all the other 5. I don't know anything going in. I'm just watching it. Because, like, I watch shows like at sleepovers and stuff, you know? It's like a sleepover movie. This is something that I got to see in theaters. And I got to see just so much creativity and love for something that I have that sort of love for on the big screen. And that made me feel so much joy, genuinely. I had a blast with this movie. Now moving on from here on out, I'm going to get into some spoilers. So the first 8 minutes are spoiler free. Next, however many minutes, there's going to be spoilers. So thank you for watching, and this was a 5 stars. But now that I can talk spoilers, oh my gosh, Tony Todd gets the best cinematic eulogy I've ever seen somebody get in this movie. What they did with him is so beautiful to me, as somebody who respects that man as nothing short of a legend, that he got to be in the Final Destination Bloodlines, but he got to also have such a poignant scene where he talks about, like, you never know when's your time, so live while you've got it. And to know that he did pass away shortly after filming that, presumably, was really touching, really poignant, and it just made me so happy that they had nailed it to that level, you know? You can be, and I like this movie, so I'm pointing to this to make fun of it, but I also like this movie a lot. But you can be Ellen Burstyn in The Exorcist Believer, or you can be Tony Todd in Final Destination Bloodlines. Like, you don't all have to be Jamie Lee in a trilogy of new movies. You can be a supporting character in the Legacy sequel and have such a beautiful, profound impact. And I thought that was great. The family aspect of things, holy smokes, what a smart and fun way to take this franchise. That's why I loved seeing them just do something completely new. It's not just, oh, another Final Destination movie. It's like, no, they did something really unique. They did something different. The opening being in the 60s was super cool. It made me wish the whole movie was in the 60s. Once again, I thought it was going to be. I thought that's what I was in for, to be 100% honest. In the back of my mind, I was like, well, I saw the guy with the hook. that's not going to be in the 60s. So what was that? Maybe that was just a teaser. Is this all going to be in the 60s? And then it wasn't. But I thought that would have been so cool. If they ever want to go back and do that, this is one of those franchises that would be so well adept to doing that because it's not going to mess with any sort of lore. Like if you do a Halloween movie in the 80s, that would be cool, but you literally can't in the 60s, you know, because that just doesn't make sense. But you can do a Final Destination movie. It's like the Predator franchise. You could do it in Native American times, you know, and it would be just as fun to see how things would work and how the contraptions would be at different time periods. And this opening really, really made me realize that. Also, the music, like Ring of Fire, the Johnny Cash song, that was all really fun. I can't remember the song the guy was listening to whenever he was driving the garbage truck when the sister cousin was getting thrown in there. But that was a big laugh out loud moment for everybody. This was funny. The dark humor was hitting my funny bone. I was laughing very hard. A lot of the gore, especially in the opening sequence, was just absurd and funny. The kid getting crushed by the piano, chef's kiss. That was perfect. But yeah, this really nailed everything it needed to. The gore is great. The kills are great. The MRI kill is my favorite. I will say, you know, there is a lot of bad CGI here, but that's one of those things, and this is defeatist, but whenever a horror fan just kind of accepts the faults of a franchise they love at a certain point, and then people will bitch about them whenever a new movie comes out, and I'm just like, that was always going to be there. That's how I felt about the bad CGI. It's like, I've heard people complaining about it, and I'm like, yeah, I wish it was better, but that's always going to be there. It's Final Destination. It's literally a part of the franchise since the first one. I was watching the first one. I mean, I've rewatched all the movies the past month. And the first one, second one, and third one I've rewatched twice. And the fifth one. I got really excited for this movie. The fourth one just blows. But the first one, I was like, oh my goodness. There's like the most endearingly horrible 2000 CGI in this movie. And that's kind of like, once again, almost the charm that they all date themselves, but in the time that they're made. You know, it's bad 2025 CGI, just like the Final Destination 5 was terrible 2011 CGI, and the Final Destination is the worst 2009 CGI. You know what I mean? Like, you wish they wouldn't do that. Like, so much CG blood especially, but I'm not going to spend my time bitching about it because that's just what they do in this franchise. The MRI kill was so good though that it really like put a smile on my face because everything was so set up all the way to like the vending machine and the spring coming out. And I thought that whenever the woman opened the door, the whole vending machine was going to fly out, but just the spring exploded the top of the guy's head. And you know, that guy was so sweet. He was so cute. Those cousins felt like my cousins. Literally, I could see like literally such a real family in this family just because I've experienced that. And I was like, these characters are so natural and authentic. The cousin characters especially, like all three of them, and the way they interacted together and the way they interacted with the young kid who was still there and the girl who wasn't, was very great, like very real. And I appreciated that authenticity, and as well as the fact that this movie continued the great Final Destination tradition of not making the parents real characters. I was nervous at first. I'm not going to lie. It had me like, oh man, this is about family. I don't want to deal with this bitch's dad. Because literally every one of these movies, they're the most self-dependent teenagers ever. You see their dad in like the opening scene, maybe a comforting scene later on, and then they never ever are seen with their parents, ever. They're like, well, I'm done, man. I gotta thug this shit out on my own. And I was like, oh no, I don't want to see the parents. And then both dads were like, you know, and like, honestly, the mom was such an absent mom that felt so authentic that it was like, well, you know what, the mom can be here. And then she got, you know, maybe my least favorite of the kills just because it was kind of dark and it was just complete like CGI crumple blood. Her kill at the end when that thing fell on her. But Junior from Chucky was the brother here, and I thought he was great. I really enjoyed seeing him just because I like the Chucky TV show a lot. I thought he was a lot of fun in it. Devon Sawa connection too. That's a lot of fun. the ending came out of nowhere. I mean, I was so locked in that I was like, I had no idea how long was actually going to be left in the movie, to be honest. And then whenever it jumped to the prom and like everything was okay, I was like, oh shit, is this the everybody dies ending? And then I was like, well, you know what? That'd be super bleak because I'm really connected to these characters, you know? Like, whenever the cousins died in the MRI machine, I was like, this is a gnarly kill. This is all. Hey, he has a dick piercing? That's hilarious. I love that. Dead by dick. Let's get it. But I was still sad because I liked those cousins. But at this point, you really, like, don't necessarily want this chick and her brother to die. And they do, man. By logs, of course. You know? And honestly, I just was geeked. I was like, you know what? You even got me. I did not see that coming. I love that it's a closed loop cycle. I love that if this movie crushes, which fingers crossed it will, we get a sequel that's completely new again because they're all dead. And I loved that. I thought that was awesome. Yeah, I got to see this surrounded by friends last night, and that was awesome. Everybody had a great time with it. I'm seeing it. It is 10:10 as I record this, 10:10 in the morning, and I'll be seeing it at noon today, 2:10 tomorrow, and 8 o'clock. Or no, 8 o'clock on Saturday, 2:10 on Sunday. Just because I want to see this with as many crowds as possible. I want to see this and support it as much as I can. And just because work got canceled because they're draining the pool, so I have nothing better to do. And yeah, this is just such a treat. This and Sinners and The Monkey. What a great top echelon of movies at the height of 2025 so far. Such fun, great, unique horror movies. Yeah, this was a hoot. This was a treat. Final Destination Bloodlines gets a 5 out of 5 from me. Go see it.